Welcome everybody, it's 9.5 System of Equations with Elimination Part 2. So to continue on with our solving systems, we learn to solve a system of equations by elimination through multiplication and addition, right? So we're doing still elimination, right? So we have a problem here, right? Our main goal we want to get to, right? Our goal is we want to get to where we can add to eliminate. Okay, so we want to get to that. Get to add to eliminate. So when we can find two numbers that when we add it, we can eliminate them, that is our goal, right? So we can solve it. And what we did last time is we found, identified our variables that we want to eliminate, right? These ones are 8. Both are 8. Just one is both are positive. We want one of them to be negative so that we can add to eliminate, right? So since both equations have 8 plus 8y, we're going to multiply one of the equations by -1 so we can add to eliminate. So let's multiply the second one. So we're going to multiply this by -1, and we bring our two equations over, right? So the top one, we did nothing to it. We just bring it over. The second one, we multiply by -1. So we're going to distribute our -1, right? So then -1 times all of these terms, everything in the equation. So we got positive 3x, -1 times 8y. We just flip our signs, right? -8y. -1 times positive 30 becomes -30. We're just flipping our signs, right? Multiply by -1. Now you see that if we added, we're going to eliminate. That's what we wanted. We want to add to eliminate. That's our goal, right? So we're going to add these to eliminate, right? So when you're adding all of these terms vertically, so x plus 3x is 4x, 8y plus -8y is 0, 22 minus 30 is -8. We just left with 4x equals -8. And then we can solve this, just divide by the 4, because it's attached to the x, right? So just divide it, equals -2. So once we have our x equals -2, we're going to substitute the remaining value to solve for the other variable, right? Because we got to add to eliminate. That's what we wanted. So we got one variable going, just x equals -2. So now we're going to substitute that into any equation. Let's use the first one. Now we're going to take our x is -2, we're going to put it in for x, right? So we have -2 plus 8y equals 22. Now we can solve for y because that's all that's left. So we get rid of the -2 because it's farthest away from our y. So we add 2. So we have 8y equals 24. Detach that 8 by dividing it. So y is equal to 3. So now we know our x is -2 or y is 3. So our solution is going to be -2, positive 3, right? Because that's our x, that's our y. Okay, that's what we did last time. If both are positive, we multiply by -1 to one of them so that we can add to eliminate. Okay. Is there another method that we could use to solve this? Right? Is there another way besides multiplying by -1 to eliminate? Can we eliminate the x variable? Like if we looked here and we wanted to eliminate the x, could we do it? We could, right? We could multiply one or both equations so you can add to eliminate. That's what we want to get to. So we want it to be the same but opposite signs, right? So if we have a -3, we want the top equation to be +3, and it's a 1x. So in order to get there, we'd have to multiply the top equation by +3, and we can't do that as long as we distribute to every term. So the top equation is now going to be 3 times x, 3x. 3 times 8y, 24y. 3 times 22, 66. Okay, so we just multiply the top equation by 3. The bottom equation, we did nothing to it, just bring it over. So now you can see that our x's are going to add to eliminate, right? So we modified our top equation so that we could add to eliminate, and that was our goal, right? So we're adding. So this is 0 now, 24 plus 8y, 32y, 66 plus 30, 96. Then we can divide by 32, y is equal to 3. And there we have 3. And now we just do the same process with the other equation to solve for x. And we can use any equation that we want to find it. Any one of them. Let's use the first one. X plus 8y equals 22. Then we take our 3, now that's y, so we put it in for y. So we have x plus 8. Now our y is 3. So we have x plus 24 equals 22. Subtract 24 to both sides and solve. So we get x equals -2. And that's our solution right there. So our x value is -2. Our y value is 3, right? Because that's our xy. Right, so that's our steps. So if we can modify one of them so that we can add to eliminate, that's the end goal, right? Get to here so we can eliminate it and solve for one of the variables, and we can use that into any equation to solve. So let's say we want to eliminate the y's, right? We want to eliminate the y's here. They're both negative. We want one of them to be positive. So we just multiply the top equation by -1. So the top equation becomes 10x plus 3y equals 0. We multiply all terms by -1. The bottom equation, we did nothing to it. 5x minus 3y equals 0. And now we can add to eliminate because our y is going to eliminate right there. Right, so our 10 plus 5x is 15x's plus 0 equals 0 on the right. So 15x equals 0 divided by 15. 0 divided by 15 is 0. So once we know one of them is 0, we just take it, put it in any equation that we want. Let's use the second one, 5x minus 3y equals 0. So I got 5, and our x is 0, so we put that in there. It's 0. So 5 times 0, 0. So we get -3y equals 0. Divide by -3. Y is equal to 0. So our ordered pair solution is 0, 0. Okay, that's one method to do it. Was there another method that we could solve it, right? Can we eliminate the x's? Let's try it. All right, so let's try eliminate the x's now. So the top number is -10. The bottom is +5. Right, so we want both of them to be the same. So can we change a 5 to a 10? Like, can we multiply 5 by a number and get 10, right? We can multiply it by 2. So to modify this, we just multiply by +2. Top equation just comes out, comes over, does nothing to it. The bottom equation, we multiply by 2. We got 10x, 2 times -3y, it's 6y. 2 times 0, 0. Then we can add to eliminate. There. And we're going to see the x value is going to cancel, right? That's going to cancel out. So it'll be 0 minus 9y equals 0. Divide by negative 9. We get y is equal to 0. And we put that into either equation. Let's use the second one. So we get 5x minus 3. Now our y is 0. Put that in there. So we get 5x plus 0 equals 0. So 5x equals 0. Divide by 5. X is 0. So our solution, again, is 0, 0. Okay, so either method we could choose that we want to eliminate. We could eliminate your y's or whatever here by multiplying one of my negative 1. Or we could eliminate the x's and multiply the bottom by 2 so it matches up with negative 10 and positive 10. Then the x is going to cancel. But either way, we both get our same solution, 0, 0. Okay, another method here. If we can modify both equations, so if you have a 4 and a 3, we can't easily multiply one of them to match it, right? So we'd have to multiply both of them. So an easy method to remember is we cross multiplying. That's all we're doing right there. If all else fails, cross multiply, right? So 3 times the top equation, 4 to the bottom equation. And I just want to keep in mind that we want one of them to be positive, one of them to be negative. So we just watch our signs by what we're multiplying by, right? So these are going to eliminate, and we can do the same process like we just did, right? We got 5 here, put it in for y, solve it, we get x equals 10. Okay, so when you have more difficult ones, we can always just cross multiply, right? So cross multiplying will always result in a common number, and then make sure it results with opposite signs so you can add to eliminate, right? Because that's the goal. We want to add to eliminate. Okay, so if we want to cancel the x's, what we're going to do, we're going to cross multiply it. Okay, so it's going to take the top equation and we're cross multiply here. So multiply top by 6, bottom by 8. And when we do that, they'll always work out. They're always going to work out. So top equation, 6 times 8, 48x, right? 6 times negative 5y, negative 30y. 6 times negative 9 is negative 54. Then we do the bottom equation. 8 times negative 6x, negative 48x. 8 times 8y, 64y. 8 times negative 6, negative 48. And now you can see we can add to eliminate our x's right here. Right, so if we cross multiply, it always will work out. So let's add these together. Right, that's going to cancel. So we got 0. And a negative 30 plus 64 is 34 y's. And a negative 54 plus negative 48 is negative 102. Okay, then we have, so 34y equals negative 102. Let's divide by that number, coefficient of y. We get y is equal to negative 3. Okay, so cross multiplying will always result in a common number. If all else fails, cross multiply. Right, so if all else fails, cross multiply it. Okay, now we have y equals -3, but we have to find what the x value is. All right, so we need to use one of our equations, either one, doesn't matter. Notice we have this one, this one, this one, or this. We have 4 different equations, but they all will work. We just take what is the easiest one, what's the simplest one to do. So let's look at the first one. Right there, let's take that one. So 8x minus 5y equals -9. Take our y, substitute it. So we got 8x minus 5. Our y is -3. Simplify that. So -5 times -3 is +15 equals -9. Then we can solve that two-step equation. Get rid of these 15 friends. You have 8x, -9 minus 15, -24, divide by 8, x equals -3. Okay, so we have our solution is -3, comma, -3. Just like that. Right? If all else fails, cross multiply. Okay, so let's look at number 4. What's different about this one? Right? They both have, or x value has the same sign, right? Negative, negative. So we could cross multiply 3 and 2. We could do that and just make one of these numbers positive, one of these negative, so flip the signs. Or we could cross multiply 3 and 4. Up to you how you want to do it or what you want to cancel. So let's just cancel the first ones. So we're going to cross multiply it. Let's do 3 on the top, 2 on the bottom. All right, so if you notice, if we were to distribute, let's see what happens. We just did 3, 2. So 3 times -2, -6x. 3 times -3y, positive or negative 9y. 3 times 5, 15. The bottom one, we 2 times -3x, so we -6x. 2 times 4y, we positive 8y. 2 times -18, -36. Okay, so when you hear, you notice these were not eliminated because when you add them, you have -12x. You want one of them to be positive. All right, so keep in mind you want these to be opposite signs. So when we multiply, we're going to have to make one of these numbers coefficient, or we're going to distribute, to be negative, so it'll flip the signs. So we can make this -2 on the bottom. So negative times a negative will be positive. Negative times positive, this would be a negative, and then this will be positive. Yeah, so now when we multiply or add, it's going to add to eliminate, right? So these counts will be 0. And then -9y minus 8y is -17y. 15 plus 36, 51. Then we can divide by -17. We get y equals 3. -3. All right, positive divide by negative, negative. Right there. All right, so we always want our signs to be opposite so we can add to eliminate. All right, so now we have y equals -3, and we can use either equation, any one we want. First one, second one. These ones we modified, any of them will work that we could use. Either way, okay? Let's use the first one. So -2x minus 3y equals 5. Take our -3, put it in for y. -2x minus 3 times -3 equals 5. Negative 3 times negative 3, positive 9. Now we can solve that. Two-step, or get rid of 9 friends. We have negative 2x equals negative 4. Then the negative 2 is attached to the x, so we have to divide it. So x equals positive 2. So our ordered pair solution is going to be 2, negative 3y. Or negative 3 for y. Over 5. Same thing. We want to cross multiply. Right there. Make sure it results with opposite signs. So you can add to eliminate. That's the goal, right? So if we want to get rid of the x's here, we're going to cross multiply it. So that's going to be 5. That's going to be 2. Right? But because both are negative, we want to multiply one of them by a negative number. So let's make the top equation with a negative. Right? So we distribute negative 5 to the negative 2x, we get positive 10x. Negative 5 to 6y, we negative 30y. Negative 5 to negative 6, positive 30. Bottom equation. 2 times negative 5, negative 10. See that? That's going to eliminate now. 2 times 10y, 20y. 2 times 0, 0. So now when we add, it's going to eliminate our x's, right? These are going to eliminate. Right, so we have 0, negative 30y plus 20y is negative 10y's. And 30 plus 0 is 30. We solve that, right? Divide by negative 10. Y is equal to negative 3. Then once we have one of them, we're going to substitute that into any of the equations, either one, any of these four. Let's do the second one. So negative 5x plus 10y equals 0. So you take that negative 3, put it in for y. All right, so our y is negative 3. Negative 5x, 10 times negative 3 is negative 30, equals 0. Get rid of our negative 30 friends. We add 30 friends. So we get negative 5x equals 30. Detach that negative 5 by dividing it. X equals negative 6. So our ordered pair solution is going to be when x is negative 6 and our y is negative 3. And that's our solution. All right, so these are, if all else fails, cross multiply and just make sure your sign end up opposite so you can add to eliminate it. And then do the same process like we did before.